Hi, I'm John Hickenlooper, Governor of Colorado. It's great to live in such a diverse state. From the mountains to the plains, we're lucky to have it all. Over the next hour, we're going to see why the oft-overlooked eastern plains of Colorado are so important to the state and the world.
We're busting out the bikes for a 3-day ride and race.
Yeah!
Both pro and amateur cyclists brave the hazards of the open road. It's a different kind of cycling course, with some die-hard local fans along the way.
Woo, you're almost there, you go!
It's time to clip in and pucker up. This is Pedal the Plains. Colorado's eastern plains are much more than just a long drive on the way to the mountains. The plains are home to millions of years of history. Thousands of family-owned businesses and hundreds of small yet vibrant communities. They're also host to Colorado's inaugural Pedal the Plains bicycle tour.
We put the Pedal the Plains event together because we wanted to connect the people along the Front Range with where their food comes from. I asked Denver Post publisher Dean Singleton and his Ride the Rockies staff for help, and we're lucky they said yes.
Our 3-day ride covers 172 miles of rolling hills and occasional headwinds.
The wind's been pretty brutal.
From Yuma to Ray to Burlington and back to Yuma.
It's kind of hard. It's tough.
A little bit more difficult on day 2 than I thought it was going to be.
And for those cyclists who can pedal till the cows come home, the Grand Fondo is a more competitive 1-day race covering 120 miles. More than 900 cyclists have registered.
How are you, sir?
And it's time for a lot of people to get to know the rest of their state.
I'll see you guys all at the finish line. I'll be probably ahead of some of you, but behind most of you. So good luck on the route. Safe travels.
And with that, hundreds of cyclists begin the first leg of the inaugural Pedal the Plains event.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Best part of the day is coming up.
After pedaling through downtown Yuma, most of them will be in Ray by early mid-afternoon.
Downhill all the way.
And the whole reason these riders are here, they get to see the Eastern Plains as few people do. Colorado is 104,000 square miles of stunning countryside. More than 1/3 of that landscape is dominated by farmland, buttes, canyons, and prairie. Before man, about 100 million years ago, it was dinosaurs that populated Colorado. Tracks like these near La Junta make up the Dinosaur Freeway. Thousands of fossilized tracks that run through Colorado to New Mexico. Humans have been in Colorado for about 13,000 years. Their modern ancestors, Native American tribes like the Utes, Arapaho, and Cheyenne, have called Colorado home for hundreds of years. On the Eastern Plains, there are several memorials to past battles where settlers and Native Americans met in unfriendly times.
The Sand Creek Massacre was one of the most controversial events in not only Colorado history, but in U.S. history.
The site of the Sand Creek Massacre is just north of Lamar. Just less than 150 years ago, 200 Native Americans were slaughtered in an unprovoked attack by the Army.
It was the catalyst for the Indian Wars that later followed, and it remains extremely controversial.
Beecher Island Battlefield Memorial is between Ray and Burlington. In 1868, Cheyenne warriors pinned down a group of scouts on a sandbar in the Arickaree River. Both sides lost men.
It represents
the beginning of the end for the Indian culture, and it also represents the beginning of the white man's presence in eastern Colorado.
Since the 1800s, farms and ranches have dominated the eastern plains. Beef and dairy cattle and hogs and sheep are the main livestock. Wheat, corn, and hay are some of the big field crops.
We produce, crops that are put into cattle. We produce crops that are put into ethanol, and it's just a joy to be out here and know that we're responsible for producing food and fiber and fuel for the world.
So in this rural part of the state, where you can't even see your neighbor's porch light at night, what is it that brings everyone together? Friday night lights on the plains.
Community is just insane about football season.
Big rivalries, big rivalries. I mean, it's bragging rights.
Every Friday night, when the lights are shining, everybody shows up and has a good time with each other and roots the home team on.
Hundreds of Pedal the Plains riders are on their way from Yuma to Ray. At only 28 miles, it's the shortest leg of the 3-day ride. A great day. No wind, no hills. One guy who knows this road really well, and probably every road around here, is Chad Day. Chad is the sheriff of Yuma County, and at 36 years old, he's the youngest sheriff ever elected in the history of Colorado.
I was born and raised here. My favorite thing about this part of the country is the fact that we can look out and see 20 miles away and really not see much of anything. Pedal the Plains is something that a lot of people in this area are excited about. Just to be able to draw people out to this area where they wouldn't normally come. People don't come out to Yuma County for a vacation, and it's not going to be as easy as you think it is either. Just a tiny bit of wind on the plains makes you wish you're in the mountains climbing a hill. I plan on riding all 3 days, and I'm really excited about it. I was a little scared of the spandex idea, but it took about a day of training to figure out that there's a good reason why we wear those shorts. Since I'm the sheriff here, a lot of the ride will fall in my jurisdiction. This is where I live. It's my home. I'm proud of it. And there's beauty here that you just don't find anywhere else.
About 2/3 of our riders live along the Front Range. The rest of them live right here on the Eastern Plains.
Any questions today?
No, I don't think so.
I think you're doing awesome.
Zach Pimentel and his childhood friend James Perez grew up together, and they still live in Burlington. And they stayed in Burlington for a very special reason.
In my family, nobody's ever been to college before, so it was pretty much me kind of blazing a trail. Ended up going to CSU. Dr. Perez and I have known each other since we were in the 4th grade.
The history that Zach and I have goes back many years. As we were getting ready to enter med school, the cost of schooling was going to significantly increase.
And that's where the town of Burlington stepped in. Through a local endowment called the Parks Foundation, the guys were able to have their medical school paid for with only one stipulation.
We pay for your school, and we want you to come back for at least a year. And the reason I only want it for at least a year is we may not like you, so we want to get rid of you if it doesn't work out. We're on year number 14, and we're still here.
Dr. Pimentel and the team from the hospital are on their way to Ray.
It's been a good day.
We're feeling strong and ready to press on.
And Dr. Perez, well, he's on call at the hospital. Coming up,
a lot of people ask, what is the purpose of these goofy-looking shorts?
A couple of farm boys hop in the saddle, but they need a lesson first.
Pedal the Plains is brought to you by Colorado Tourism. Get out and discover all of Colorado, not for just the sights and sounds, but for how they make you feel. The region's Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your local electric cooperative delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. Visit togetherwesave.com. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And the Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade.
Hey, welcome back to the inaugural Pedal the Plains 3-day event. It features hundreds of bicyclists venturing out onto Colorado's eastern plains. Most of the riders are halfway through the 28-mile first leg between Yuma and Ray. Two of the cyclists planning on riding all 3 days are new to the sport.
So as you're doing a nice long ride like Pedal the Plains, you're going to be switching your positions from here to here and here.
But they're supporting the event because agriculture and the eastern plains are in their blood.
My name is Jay Sappy. I'm 19 years old, and I'm from a third-generation Black Angus cattle ranch. I have been a member of the National FFA organization since 2007 when I joined as a freshman in high school.
FFA, or Future Farmers of America, is a national organization that promotes agricultural education to high school and college students.
A lot of people ask, what is the purpose of these goofy looking shorts? When you ride a bike, you want to reduce the drag, the wind factor, okay? So something like this is going to be a lot more comfortable over a long amount of time than big flappy shorts.
My teammate Kendall Wilkins and I will be participating in Pedal the Plains. We think it's a great way to help others learn about the opportunities in eastern Colorado.
And while they're helping others learn about the eastern plains of Colorado, they've got pro cyclists Megan Hotman and Katie Macarelli helping them learn about cycling.
A really great place to ride on your handlebars is down here in your drops if you're going fast.
When we heard about the mentoring program, we both thought that that would be a blast. I think both of us, again, are just, we naturally want people to get into this sport.
So if you need to stop for any reason, there's a very quick clip-out action, and it's gonna involve your ankle coming out. This is the #1 thing that newbies struggle with.
Megan and Katie have been great supporters thus far. They're very positive individuals that are sharing tips with us that Kendall and I would have never thought in a million years to think about, and we're very thankful to be paired up with them.
As you pull through in your rotation, you'll sit up on the front, you'll take your pull. As I make my way towards the back, I'm gonna tuck back into the draft. So we're all sharing that burden of being on the front.
I'm not a cyclist, so the biggest challenge for me is actually probably gonna be finishing this race.
There you go, nice.
It will be an experience of a lifetime, and I definitely won't ever forget it.
The Pedal the Plains cyclists are riding through some of the most fertile farming and ranching land in the country.
Awesome day, great weather. This is heaven.
While feeding the world, the family farms and other ag producers here contribute enormously to our state's economy, over $5 billion. The cattle industry plays an important role in the economy of nearly 1/3 of the counties in Colorado.
My name is Brad Buchanan. I'm the owner and operator of Flying Bee Bar Ranch in Strasburg, Colorado. It's important for communities and folks living right in downtown Denver to also understand how food gets on their plate.
What are you looking for, huh? No, you can't give me a kiss. You can't. No kisses. You're a good boy, though.
Our cattle are grass-fed. We're a certified American Grass-Fed Association operation. We can only feed the type of feed that cattle fed on when they were roaming the plains, when the buffalo were roaming the plains.
Yeah, yeah.
There's such honor out here, and it's real, it's palpable. It's not a sort of a cowboy western myth. It's alive and well in eastern Colorado. It's worth it. It's all absolutely worth it.
You know, we designed the Pedal the Plains event to have some educational stops along the way.
That's what field corn looks like.
This one, between Yuma and Ray, gives hundreds of cyclists the opportunity to learn a little more about where our food comes from.
You know, we're independent. We make our own decisions. We don't have anybody making decisions for us. And I just love that lifestyle. We're glad to have the Pedal the Plains here and see what we do, see what we're about, and see what this area is like, and maybe come back and visit us again.
But there are also other ways to support agriculture in Colorado.
I'm the state 4-H director for Colorado. Probably the traditional view people have of 4-H is the county fairs. So we do a lot of different things besides showing animals and livestock. We do a lot with engineering and math. Robotics is one of our new projects. So we're trying to expand to meet the needs of kids today. So head, heart, hands, and health are the 4-H's. We're gonna have some tattoos on race day. They're gonna say, "What's your H?" And we're gonna have them on all our forearms. That's a new marketing campaign that we're in the middle of in Colorado 4-H. And so we're trying to get some good stories from people and what's most important to them, head, heart, hands, or health. And my H is health because 5 years ago, I couldn't walk from here to the parking lot. I had a psoriatic arthritis, and all of a sudden it hit me and I couldn't do anything. And since then, I've started climbing 14ers and riding bikes and stuff, and try not to take your health for granted.
So we had several hundred riders crossing the finish line in Ray, and that was the end of the first leg. A tent city at Ray High School was home for about 12 hours. The riders rested and prepared their bikes for day 2. And Ray threw quite a shindig downtown.
This is blueberry pie, so I just couldn't resist the temptation. I had to stop by and have a piece.
Cyclists were treated to food.
Best in Colorado, best in the western United States.
Games. Contests.
Go!
Shopping and friends.
When I say pedal, you say planes, pedal, pedal.
Tomorrow morning brings a long, hilly ride and a race where the pros duel for cash and bragging rights.
How'd they get that far ahead of us?
It's dawn, and day 2 of the inaugural Pedal the Plains bicycle tour on the eastern plains of Colorado. Day 1 was an easy 28-mile ride from Yuma to Ray, but day 2 will be a little tougher, 61 miles from Ray to Burlington. With some hilly terrain along the way. In Burlington, we're only a few hours from the start of the highly competitive Gran Fondo race. Gran Fondo means big ride in Italian. It's a long-distance, mass start race in a picturesque setting. And Burlington is going to be the beginning and the end of the 120-mile Pedal the Plains Gran Fondo. Chandler Smith is the race director of Pedal the Plains. Working with the USA Pro Challenge, he set up the Gran Fondo to attract skilled riders, as well as some amateurs. And there's even a little money on the line.
The prizes this year, it's more just fun, and so just a little plaque that says congratulations and gives them their placement, and then there's some very modest cash prizes.
And we have 2 sprint areas along the route. This is where riders aim for the best times and more cash. But the Gran Fondo isn't just for avid cyclists. The inaugural event has also drawn some pros. Eddie Kwan and Craig Lewis train in the mountains near Boulder throughout the year, but they're looking forward to riding the plains.
Gran Fondos are, they're a lot of fun to do this time of year. It's kind of the end of the season.
Yeah, it's beautiful so far. You know, I haven't seen much this morning, but you know, we're going to do a big lap and check it all out.
The current pros aren't the only cyclists bringing competition experience to the plains. Ron Kiefel, a former pro racer and Olympic bronze medalist, will also be racing in the Gran Fondo.
I've raced the Tour de France 7 times, and you do everything. You go on the flats, you do rolling terrain, you have wind. Today will be a beautiful day, so no rain, and you know, it doesn't look like a lot of wind yet. So excited to be here.
Megan Hotman and Katie Maccarelli are 2 female pro cyclists who are also ready for the Gran Fondo Challenge. They love the sport.
I know we're in for a really long day.
Remember, Megan and Katie helped the 2 FFA riders, Kendall and Jace, prepare for their 3-day ride. They've trained hard getting ready for race day.
My name is Megan, and I am a cyclist, and I am also an attorney. I started racing in 2003 as a beginner. By 2008, I was a Category 1, which is considered professional. If If you had asked me several years ago what my goal in cycling was, I was hoping to qualify for the 2012 Olympic team in London. Through a series of injuries and also just through the development of my practice, my goals have changed, and it's much more now to just be a lifelong cyclist and to help others find the sport.
My name is Katie Macarelli, and I am Megan's teammate. I am a Category 4, so I'm a beginner level, you would say beginner racer, and I just love to be the example that anybody who's average can get out there and be healthy and be happy on their bike and go fast. How could I not sign up for Pedal the Plains? When I saw that in the paper, I literally jumped up and down in my kitchen. I did one of those like, ah, yay! So I grew up in Burlington. What people don't realize, I think, is that it's a really beautiful part of the state. It's really peaceful, and to think of riding my bike in that area is just heavenly.
"6 hours in a bicycle seat sounds like a lot, and it is. But these are experienced riders. Just over 90 cyclists signed up for the Gran Fondo, and they're ready to hit the road.
Luckily, we got really good sleep last night, so life is good.
In true Eastern Plains fashion, State Senator Greg Brophy sends the riders off with an authentic shotgun start.
3, 2, do not shoot the helicopter. 1.
Right out of the gate, Megan and Katie ride with the lead pack. It's a group of about 20 riders, including pros and a few ambitious amateurs. They blow past the first aid stations, setting the pace for the rest of the racers. And though they were one of the last groups to leave the starting line, one group of scrappy young men are hot on the heels of the lead pack.
We missed our start by 4 minutes.
Known as Rite of Passage, they're giving it their all, and for good reason. These once troubled youths have a lot to prove.
You gotta get out here, it's fun.
My name is Bill Wood. I'm the Program Director of Ridgeview Youth Services Center, which is operated by Rite of Passage. Rite of Passage is a private company, and we contract with different state agencies throughout the country to provide services to at-risk youth. Students come into our program, they come from detention centers, and we work with them to stabilize their behaviors and to build trust. And we really promote positive youth development with academic, vocational, and sports. Cycling has been a particularly successful sport for us.
Cycling is a way for me to release energy and have fun at the same time. You get a sense of independence, but you still have that structure.
We got the big event coming up, and today will be maybe 18 to 22 miles, depending on how far we go. My name is Greg Townsend. I'm the head coach for cycling. There's a unique set of kids that gravitate toward the sport of cycling. The guys that have a hard time with identity or finding their place do really well at the sport. The guy that was breaking 3 or 4 tennis rackets, the tennis coach would come up to me and say, I got a perfect kid for you.
I've been in Rite of Passage for 10 months now. Cycling has helped me a lot since I've been here because it's given me something to take my aggression out on. I just ride it away pretty much.
Our plan is to have about 6 riders in the Gran Fondo. None of the students have actually done that mileage before. So our goal is hopefully to survive. And we want to be competitive, but we want to try to make it through it.
I'm feeling a little nervous because it's a lot farther than we've ever done, but I'm actually excited because who else can say they rode 120 miles in a day?
I'm really looking forward to the Gran Fondo because it's able to push me to my limits that I haven't really pushed before. If I can do this, I'm going to be able to do anything.
The 3-day Pedal the Plains bicycle event has attracted over 900 riders.
Go Plains!
Great ride so far.
Both pro and amateur cyclists are out on the stunning eastern plains of Colorado.
Well, it's fun. We have all these kids waving at us and all these families out and all that sort of stuff, and I'm going, really, we're not worthy.
For many of them, the highlight of the weekend is the 120-mile Grand Fondo. It's a loop that started in Burlington, and now they're about 30 miles in. The pros are setting the pace, with the Rite of Passage boys giving it their all to catch up. Pulling up the rear is a team of Eastern Plains locals, but they have a different goal in mind.
To finish with everybody together, just to pull one another along, that whole sense of camaraderie. So that's what our goal is.
They hail from Ordway, Colorado, 150 miles southwest of Burlington. Health Mart has been training for months leading up to the race.
I'll go, then Kyle, then you're with Brandon. My name is Jerry Davis, and I'm the captain of the Health Mart cycling team. We've been in existence for about 5 years now. We'll just kind of take it easy to begin with. Then when we get out on Road H, we'll ramp it up a little bit. Health Mart, it's a chain of retail drugstores. Yeah, we do have a wide range of age and experience on our team.
My name is Richard. I'm 75 years old. I've got 18 grandkids and 9 great-grandkids. I do fairly well for an old guy.
And then we have an 8th grader. We do a lot of rides at lunchtime and do like a 30-mile ride. We try to do it weekly with the entire group so that we can work on our pace line, our drafting techniques, and it'll be interesting to see how it turns out on this ride. We've done several centuries before, the 100-mile rides. Most of the rides that we've done have been in the mountains, and so it's hard to stay together as a team. Our desire is to work together, so going to Burlington we're really looking forward to because there is the lack of the up and there's still oxygen in the air.
Back at the Grand Fondo, Health Mart is feeling pretty good about their teamwork through the first 20 miles. But there are still a lot of miles left to ride. As the riders race through the countryside in a blur, it's difficult to fully appreciate all the diverse history the Eastern Plains offer.
It's a beautiful day for a ride.
The Plains are home to some important historical sites, like Bent's Old Fort near La Junta. Built in 1833, the fort's significance in the history of the American West is far-reaching.
Bent's Old Fort was the first American settlement in this part of the world. It was built not as a military post, it was a private commercial trading post. So if you needed your wagon repaired, if you needed to pick up more supplies, if you just needed to have a roof over your head for a little bit, Bent's Fort was that service station on the Santa Fe Trail. There's a huge part of the story of Colorado that's out here on the Eastern Plains. This is where Colorado got its start.
A few miles away, in downtown La Junta, history is alive and well. The Cochari Indian Museum offers a dance program that gives local teenagers the chance to learn about the Native American heritage of the Eastern Plains.
My dad was a Cochari Indian dancer. He kind of influenced me to kind of join the Cochari Indian dancers. The program has given me a lot of opportunities to go a lot of places that I probably would have never been able to go.
We have tourists coming through, and a lot of times they think it's just another small town museum. And they're often surprised to see how much Southeast Colorado has to offer.
Back on the Grand Fondo course, pro cyclists still make up the majority of the frontrunners. Megan and Katie have been separated, but with the first sprint zone just ahead, there's no time to waste. Coming up, one team copes with a cycling reality.
Call ambulance.
I want to welcome you back to Pedal the Plains. It's day 2, and there are 2 cycling events underway. Leg 2 of the ride event began in Ray this morning. More than 700 riders are on the 61-mile stretch that ends in Burlington. And the big event today is the Grand Fondo, a 120-mile race that started and ends in Burlington. Those racers are still on the first half of the course. There's a group of 30 riders in the lead peloton. Many of them are pros, including former Tour de France rider Ron Kiefel from Wheat Ridge and Megan Hopman out of Golden. The Health Mart team, a group of riders out of Ordway in southern Colorado, has already lost 1 rider, and they're still recovering from a nasty spill during a training ride a week ago.
We have our specific point we set that we ramp it up and sprint to the finish, and I started shifting up and started pedaling hard. I guess I just shifted too far and threw the chain off, and I just remember being on the ground. And all of a sudden I realized I'd taken someone else down. I was okay, but I could tell he was not feeling good, and like he was having trouble getting up even, and was really dizzy when he did get up.
What you feeling, Glenn? We need to call ambulance? What you thinking?
I'm good.
It doesn't seem on the surface like a real high-risk sport, but you know, there's always that danger of going down and the road rash, but you know, this is all part of biking. You just gotta get back up and keep going.
Back at the race, the leaders had their sights set on the French barricades marking the first of 2 sprint zones. The initial checkpoint lies at the 40-mile marker. Everyone who crosses has their time recorded.
Come on! Go, go!
Megan Hotman is the first woman to reach the 40-mile checkpoint and the second rider overall to cross the first sprint line. And the top 3 men's and women's combined sprint scores win cash prizes. But the real prize, as always, is bragging rights.
How's Katie doing?
Katie's been unable to keep up with the lead pack. She's been riding alone,
I just don't want her to be by herself.
but luckily recruited a riding partner to share drafting duties.
This is my new friend, Mark! We are this close!
Get her done! We're at 70 miles? Piece of cake.
70 miles down, 50 to go, and the racers have had their fair share of mechanical issues.
I was in the lead too. I was on the front. Flat.
On the open road, a flat tire could turn a good ride bad in a hurry.
There's a goat head.
Goat heads are the problem. They're thorny seeds from a weed that's common throughout the West.
Like these things, if they hit, they'll sit like that. They're not going through all the way. But as you ride the bike and you roll over, it'll work its way in, and it'll just eventually, that little sharp piece right there will kind of weasel its way all the way through.
It's gonna be a lonely ride back up to the top. So.
Thankfully, a number of Front Range bike shops are providing bicycle repair at many of the aid stations and even on the road for both the ride and the race. Meanwhile, the Rite of Passage team from Watkins, Colorado is having a tough go of it after starting so strong.
Ooh, my chain snapped. What'd you do? My chain snapped.
Well, it looks like I'm not finished.
He broke a chain. He needs to get a chain replaced.
Okay.
Do you know if you can drive him back there real quick?
Yep, I can.
Problem solved, and the Rite of Passage team is back together. But hopes of catching the leaders are fading fast.
It's tough.
The strongest riders in the Gran Fondo are nearing the end, but there's 2 riders in a breakaway. Can the others catch them?
Is that far ahead of us?
Find out when we come back. Well, we're nearing the end of day 2 of our first Pedal the Plains event, and the Gran Fondo riders are in high gear. Most of the lead peloton of racers are taking a quick pit stop to grab some snacks and refill their bottles before the final push to Burlington.
I'm trying to shovel it in, because as soon as this group goes, I'm going. All right, here we go. Sandwich in hand. Thank you.
But one couple riding together is determined to push on without stopping. As they reach the second and final sprint checkpoint, their lead widens.
Can you help us figure out what the gap is? We can't see him. How big is that far ahead of us?
Though content with what they feel are strong sprint scores, the trailing pros soon discover that they are almost 9 minutes behind the leaders.
You see what happened to those two up there? We can't figure out how they got so far ahead. Well, they haven't stopped yet.
They never stopped?
Holy cow, that's unbelievable.
And as they make the turn south at Idalia toward Burlington, there is a new wrinkle. This is the point on the course where the Gran Fondo racers converge with the Day 2 Pedal the Plains riders. That puts almost 900 cyclists on the road together for the last 30 miles.
I'm used to that, people passing me.
Megan and her adopted group of pros dig deep. They're trying to catch the two leaders.
They're 2 miles ahead of us. Once those two got off the front, we were all just chasing them like junkyard dogs, trying to bring them back.
But the margin proves too wide as the couple crosses the finish line first.
Winners of the first ever Pedal the Plains.
With an impressive time of 5 hours, 37 minutes. That's an average speed of 21 miles an hour. My top speed is barely 21 miles an hour.
And then there was one. I just finally took off and decided to try and do the last 7 miles on my own.
And Megan finishes at third overall, coming in just a few minutes later.
Today went a lot better than I anticipated. You know, we really rode it like a race. We stopped once in 120 miles.
When did Andrea and John roll away from you?
That would be the stop. Or unbeknownst to all of us, they rolled off the front.
They never stopped at an aid station.
To my knowledge, they did not stop today.
Over the next few hours, more racers cross the finish line in Burlington. Whether they're pro or amateur, every rider is encouraged to replenish lost water and calories with cold drinks and free food.
Good stuff.
One food provides both. Rocky Ford cantaloupe is grown just south of here on the fertile plains of southeastern Colorado.
I'm so hungry for something full of water, and this is fantastically sweet.
Rocky Ford cantaloupes are known all over the country as the sweetest in the world, and they are the best. And you know, I've eaten several thousand in my life, and I've yet to get a bad one. What makes Rocky Ford melon so special is the hot days, the cool nights, the dry weather, and it all adds up to a sweet cantaloupe.
In Burlington, the largest wave of riders are finishing the day. Sheriff Chad Day made it. Dr. Zach Pimentel crossed with the hospital team. The 4-H team powered through, and the FFA boys rode much of the day with Lieutenant Governor Joe Garcia. But there are still some riders on the course.
I'm so far behind, I think I'm ahead. It's a little bit more difficult on day 2 than I thought it was going to be.
And they have lots of local support.
We're just having fun, cheering them on.
Oh my.
Oh, God.
Look at that cat-like reflex.
Woo! You're almost there, you go! Woo!
Still ahead, one of our cyclists gets a ride he'd rather not have.
He smashed the side of his helmet and was knocked unconscious.
Fresh off finishing the 120-mile Gran Fondo, Megan and Katie treat themselves to a little fun at the Kit Carson Carousel.
I get the hippocampus.
The hippocampus? I wouldn't even know what that was if I found it.
This relic from 1905 is an old hangout for Katie, a Burlington native, and it feels good to sit in a saddle and not have to do any pedaling.
This is how you recover from a 120-mile bike ride.
Here's a look at the winners of the Gran Fondo in the sprints. John Guala took first place in the men's division. His girlfriend and Yuma native, Andrea Koenig, was first for the women.
When everyone wanted to stop, I thought if we took off, we could probably make a break.
To be honest, I was skeptical. I thought we'd be caught for sure. It didn't happen, so we were thrilled. I mean, they just couldn't get organized.
Jeff Kaler and Randy Ballheim finished second and third for the men. And Megan Hotman raced home to second place for the women. Third place went to Whitney Garcia. The sprint competition is a combined score. First place for the men's sprint was Trevor Greenwood from nearby Fort Morgan. For the women, Megan Hotman took home the gold. The Gran Fondo isn't about winning for everyone. The Rite of Passage team from Ridgeview Academy in Watkins has seen their share of bumps in the road.
We had a crash, 3-4 flats, broken chain.
So crossing the finish line together is especially sweet.
It made us a part of something great, I guess, because nobody else on the site gets to come out and do this with us. We were the chosen few, and we showed why.
Feels pretty good. It was well worth it.
We achieved the goals. We all finished. We're all in one piece. And I'm proud of each one of these guys. And like I told them, they can accomplish anything if they stick their mind to it. 1, 2, 3.
While one team celebrates a hard-fought victory, another had a scary moment 20 miles back on the course. 75-year-old Richard Grantham of the Health Mart team is riding back to Burlington in an ambulance after a nasty spill.
He was riding by himself, and nobody around him, didn't hit a tire or anything, and just fell straight to the ground. I don't know if he fainted from dehydration, but when he went down, he smashed the side of his helmet and was knocked unconscious for a couple minutes. He was backboarded and sent off to the hospital.
So that's got to be the end of Health Mart's ride, right? Not so fast.
I heard they're like 10 miles out. There's 8 left, and they're determined to finish.
They said, too dark, party's over. So we're cashing in the what looks like a pro car. It looks like a chase vehicle from the Tour de France. That's the fantasy we're going to go with. We made it 114 miles. Our goal was 120, so really close, but we said from the beginning that we would be happy whatever was given to us. I think we're going to go check on Mr. Grantham and hope that he is all right. I'm certain that he is. He's such a tough old coot.
I was glad to hear that Richard only had minor injuries. He was released from the hospital the next day. But the 3-day riders still have one last leg to complete their Pedal the Plains.
We'll see you in Yuma.
And for one team, there's still a lot on the line.
The last one in had to shave their legs, so I wasn't going to be the last one.
Pedal the Plains was brought to you by Colorado Tourism. Get out and discover all of Colorado. Not for just the sights and sounds, but for how they make you feel. By Flatiron Subaru in Boulder. Decidedly different. The Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
It's the third and final day of Pedal the Plains and the longest leg of the 3-day ride. With nearly 100 miles already under their belts, riders are digging deep to push through those last 80 miles from Burlington to Yuma.
We'll see you in Yuma.
Yesterday I rode the longest I'd ever ridden in one day. Today I'm going to ride more than that.
The wind is the strongest it's been yet, making for a challenging last leg.
It's a lot like life, you know? Sometimes you got a headwind, sometimes you got a tailwind. You just always keep pedaling.
But for those who endured the pain and fought the wind to reach the finish line in Yuma, it's a sweet victory indeed.
I've never actually done a ride like this. I've been training. You kind of wonder what you have in you, so it felt really good.
I'm about to take a photograph of my odometer to text to my 20-year-old son and say, "Match that, sucker!"
Me and my partner had a bet. The last one in had to shave their legs, so I wasn't going to be the last one.
I'll be shaving my legs because I did lose, so I'll be doing it. Overall, it was a lot of fun, though. I'm really glad we did it because it was honestly one of, something I'll remember for a very, very long time.
It's a little emotional. It's pretty hard to describe. It's awesome. This event, I don't see how it could have gone any better. And it's in my backyard. How much better can that be?
The pedaling has stopped, and it's the end of the road for this year's event. And as the riders catch their breath, our hosts from the plains hope everyone comes back.
This has been awesome. We've met a lot of new people, and we're not just plain and boring and all that. There's lots to see and lots to do if people just get out and venture around a little.
I think they've enjoyed the ride. I think they've enjoyed the scenery. I think they've enjoyed actually being able to get out in the country and see that there's more to Eastern Colorado than just wide open spaces.
That's it. Thanks to everyone who helped put this ride together. We'll do it again next year, and I expect to see you pedaling the plains.